So winter is basically here in Buffalo. It's not officially winter. I think that starts like December 21st or 22nd, but it's already snowing. It's freezing outside. It's miserable. I've said this countless times on the channel. Winter is my least favorite season of the entire year. I do not like winter at all. But with that being said, the season of hot chocolate is also here, and I love hot chocolate. I actually consider myself a hot chocolate aficionado. I drink hot chocolate all year round. It doesn't have to be winter for me to be sipping on some hot chocolate. A lot of times in the summer at night, you will find me on the couch over there drinking some hot cocoa. So that being said, I wanted to share with you guys my go-to low-carb, keto-friendly hot cocoa recipe. It is so good, and I think you guys are gonna love it. So let's get in this one. Let's make some hot cocoa. So, for my low-carb keto hot cocoa recipe, you guys are gonna need some low-carb milk. What I recommend going with is the Almond Breeze unsweetened vanilla. Out of all of the almond milks in existence, I think this stuff is the best. It's the best stuff that I've tried anyways. And the great thing is that every cup only has 1 gram of carbs. So for the taste, for the carbs, I don't think it gets better than this. By the way, this video isn't sponsored at all by Almond Breeze. I just truly love this almond milk. So check this out. It's what I use all the time for my hot cocoa or just to drink around the house, whatever. All right, so at this point you want to get out your food scale and a really large cup. I'm using a large measuring cup. It works great for this. And we're going to add 2 cups or about 500 milliliters of that unsweetened vanilla almond milk to our cup. So we talked about the milk, obviously a huge component to hot chocolate. Now we have to talk about some cocoa. I recommend going with some unsweetened cocoa powder. Now I got asked the other day, is cocoa powder keto friendly? Of course it's keto friendly. Every tablespoon of this only has 1 net carb. So do not be afraid to use cocoa if you're on the keto diet. Anyways, for today's hot cocoa recipe, we're gonna be adding a heaping tablespoon of that unsweetened cocoa powder to our cup. So to sweeten up my hot cocoa lately, I've been adding some of the Swerve's confectioners erythritol. I really love this stuff a lot, especially the confectioners because it just dissolves way better. You could totally use granulated erythritol if you wanted to, but the confectioners is just dynamite. It dissolves great, and I think there's less of a cooling effect. A lot of people talk about the cooling effect of erythritol. For whatever reason, the confectioners, I think, just has less of a cooling effect. If you don't have any erythritol though, you could always use a liquid sweetener like a liquid Splenda or liquid stevia. But for today's recipe and my hot cocoa, we are going to be adding a heaping tablespoon or about 15 grams of the confectioner's erythritol to our measuring cup. All right, so the last thing we need is some salt. You might think, do I really need salt? Yes. The reason we're using salt is because it'll help enhance the chocolate. There'll be more of a chocolatey flavor, and it'll also bring out the sweetness in the hot chocolate as well. All right, so now we're all set to get out our whisk and whiskify all those ingredients. What you're looking for is the erythritol and the cocoa powder to pretty much completely dissolve in there. And once that happens, we're gonna bring the measuring cup over to our stove, turn our stove up to medium-high heat, and add the hot cocoa, or cold cocoa at the moment, to a small pot. And we're gonna heat that up until just the sides of the hot cocoa start to boil. And once the edges do start boiling, that's when you want to remove it from the heat, let it cool down just a little bit, and then once it cools, you're all set and ready to add it to your favorite hot cocoa mug. So our hot cocoa is officially hot. I don't know if you can see all the steam coming out of this mug. This mug is a 2-cup mug. It is a giant, giant mug. So the whole recipe fits inside here, but the recipe makes 2 servings, guys. I'm gonna say a serving is just 1 cup of hot cocoa. The last part of this recipe is adding some whipped cream to your hot cocoa. So I'm gonna shake this guy up. Get this going. Boom. Got our whipped cream added to the mug. The very last thing we gotta do, we gotta go a little Cocoa Bay on our hot cocoa. This is for the Instagrams. And then check that out. That is the final product of your low carb, keto friendly hot cocoa. Definitely gotta go for a taste here. Is good. It like warms the whole body. My whole body is warm right now. Deliciously warm. That is today's hot cocoa recipe. My go-to low carb, keto friendly hot chocolate, and all for about 1 gram of carbs per cup, or a little less than 1 gram of carbs per cup. By the way, if you make this, definitely add the whipped cream and Cocoa Bay action to the top of your hot chocolate. It really does take it to a whole different level. And if you do make it, I'd love to see your recreation of it, so definitely tag me on Instagram. My handle's in the video description below. Also down there, you'll find links to all the products that I used to make the hot chocolate today. So if you need to pick any of that stuff up, all that's down there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you
in the next recipe.
Didn't see you guys there. Was that a little bit cheesy with the camera in the fridge?